This is my friend Janet. This is the day she told me it was lymphoma. This is the day I decided I had to do something. I had done it before. I'd run a marathon. I didn't do it well, but I finished. And I raised $5,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. But that was back in 2002. I wasn't married. I was 25. I didn't have any children. I was participating in the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Team in Training program because I was a recreational runner and I wanted to say I had run a marathon. I signed up back in 2002 because Team in Training offered me a coach, a training plan, and a trip to Alaska to run my race. When else would I ever get a chance to go to Alaska? But now, in 2008, this journey had nothing to do with a fancy destination or a spare time hobby for a young single girl. I was 31 years old with 2 small children. I had very little free time, but I had a friend who found out she had cancer. The feeling of helplessness that overcame me could only be matched by that of Janet's and her family. How could I sit around and watch this happen? It took me less than 60 seconds to decide. I picked up the phone and I called the Bloomington, Illinois Team in Training office. I told them I had to sign up for an event. I had to raise money. I had to be part of the effort to find a cure. I signed up to train for a half marathon and to fundraise and run in Janet's honor. My goal was to raise $3,700. Janet was my first donor. She couldn't believe I was going to do this. She told her family and friends. They were my next donors. The money came pouring in. Everyone has been impacted by cancer. That's a phrase I hope will change someday, but for now, that's the reality. After the fundraising was underway, the training became the focus. My team met every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. to run anywhere from 6 to 14 miles. We would gather in a circle first and would often share a mission moment, a story about one of our patient heroes or a fundraising success. Some mornings were difficult. We ran through rain, fog, and very cold weather. But there was a strength in numbers as the team of runners became a support system for each other. And then there was Howard, our team captain, the captain of the entire Illinois team, who would remind us when we needed inspiration the most that anything we might be going through during training, the blisters, the sore muscles, the lost toenails, were nothing compared to chemotherapy. That saying became our mantra: if they can go through chemo, we can run a few more miles. During the training, I would think of Janet and what she was going through. Her diagnosis was officially diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's, stage 4. She would undergo 8 chemotherapy treatments over the next 6 months. She would sit in the hospital for a full day each time she had chemotherapy. She would need shots after every treatment to boost cell counts. And all the while, she was a mother of 4 children, a high school teacher, and a devoted wife. And for those people, her husband, her children, and her students, she would put a smile on her face. Later, she would lose her hair. One Saturday, Janet and her family met my team in Bloomington before our early morning run. We had 10 miles to run that day, and Janet, her husband, and her children would be out on the course serving us water and Powerade. I introduced Janet to my team and explained that she's the reason I run. Janet, as always, had a smile on her face and took some time to talk to my team. But she didn't tell anyone about her treatments. She didn't tell us if she was suffering. I may never know how she felt during that experience, because all she ever did was smile. Instead, what she told my team was how impressed she was with them, how she just couldn't believe they would wake up that early in the morning to run that many miles. She said she couldn't believe what we were going through. The irony in that statement didn't escape any of us. We couldn't believe what she was going through, and that's why we kept running and fundraising. When the training was over, I traveled to San Francisco to compete in the Nike Women's Half Marathon. To go to a race as part of the Team in Training group is like nothing you've ever experienced before. There is a pasta party on the night before the race. My friend Mindy and I entered the large convention center with our minds on a plate full of spaghetti to get ready for a big race. Instead, we were greeted by literally hundreds of people who clapped for us and for all that we'd done for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We were overwhelmed. But that was just the beginning. During dinner, there were various speakers who told their stories of survival and gave us inspiration for the next day's race. We were given a booklet to take back to our hotels, filled with stories that would inspire us to keep running, because what we are doing provides hope to so many others. One of the stories I read that night was about Mitch. His parents shared his story so that we could carry it with us during our race. 2 days before Mitchell passed away, he was incoherent from Valium, and all we could do was to manage his pain medication and oxygen to keep him comfortable. He opened those big blue eyes, nice and wide, and said, as clear as a bell, "Keep fighting." That is just the kind of spirit he possessed. When you reach that point in your race, keep fighting. Not for Mitchell, but for yourself. The finish line is waiting for you. Keep fighting so that you can finish the task that you have trained so hard for, and in the process, help every other Mitch that is fighting for his life. Thanks again for your dedication. Stay the course. Finish strong. Go, Mitch, go. I finished the race, and Janet finished her battle. She's done with chemotherapy, and she's seen a few new hairstyles along the way. In her honor, I donated 8 inches of my own hair to the American Cancer Society. My time with Team in Training inspired me to volunteer for the next season as a coach. I continue to stay involved with the team, and I really do believe that we're helping to save lives, 1 mile at a time.